Santa Fe lives up to its name. It sits on a history of faith. An unyielding belief in pride lays a foundation of myth. This pride has led the community to raise up certain ancestors, those that make us proud, and to cast down or ignore others, those whose lives has had us feel shame. Pride is a drug. It acts in the same manner, serving as a means to forget or suppress unwanted memories. Collectively, we have been drunk on pride for hundreds of years. The hangover, like always, will be full of regrets and a pain that can only be healed by the passage of time. This intoxication has led certain ancestors and stories to be forgotten or purposely censored. Dan Sosa Jr. is well remembered for his commitment to the American judicial system. But his grandfather and my great-great-grandfather Enrique Sosa owned and operated many newspapers across the state that exposed this same system's flaws and biases. Enrique also lived an entirely separate life in Guanajuato as a military man and painter, and had to remarry Grandma Sosa to avoid bigamy charges in 2 countries. Nobody ever talked about that. I am a direct descendant of John Richard Adobe Johnson, who served as a second lieutenant in Jose Francisco Chavez's mounted volunteers and fought at the Battle of Glorieta Pass. Many of his stories are known, and his service is commemorated by a controversial monument in the plaza. But I am also a descendant of Soledad and Alejandro Lucero. The last name Lucero was acquired through enslavement, as they were owned by the Lucero family in the San Luis Valley in southern Colorado. We will never know their original names before they were stolen and sold. But we do know that the same philosophies used to celebrate John Richard Adobe Johnson were those used to justify the enslavement of Soledad and Alejandro. Nobody ever talked about that either. The toppling of a literal monolithic structure created during the territorial period is a reflection of an internal toppling of the monolithic culture of being New Mexican or Spanish that was created as a defense against the American occupation. If we can begin to recognize the unique experiences of our ancestors and families, all of them, the painful and the prideful, then we can begin to rebuild an accurate image of the past. An image much more interesting and varied than the one we've been working with. For every Adobe Johnson or Jose Francisco Chavez, there are dozens of Soledads and Alejandros whose lives and struggles were silenced by pride. Truth is the nemesis of pride, and is immutable in its authority. A righteous reckoning has come for our prideful false histories.